Monday, everybody, and welcome to Dollar Bets. I'm O. With me, as always, is Z.
Still here.
What's going on, Z?
Oh well, I want you to give an opportunity right off the jump to talk about oh, let's talk
Talk
about
about
oh
myself?
baby, let's talk about O and Z, let's talk about all the money, O Z, except he don't.
Did not realize we had Weird Al on the show today.
Salt and pepper, baby, baby.
All
So
right. Well,
yeah.
you know that talking about myself is one of my four favorite things.
Oh, that's a nice plug.
All right, here we go. Real quick, just because it's such a slow news day, we're going to start off with a little self-promotion to
Yeah.
all our listeners. Please remember to check out my new blog. It is called O for 4 blog, and that is the letter O,
Yes.
FOR, the number 4, blog. I'm not spelling blog for you. Y'all know how to do that. So o44blog.com. It's great. Talk about some things, 4 different topics every week. Blab about it. Try to have a bad opinion.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys like it.
And you always remember, kids, or not kids, I should say, because of what I'm about to say. Always remember, folks, when you're doing self promotion, don't forget the lotion.
Okay. There's the sound of the FCC shutting us down.
FCC, yeah, you know me. Do you know if I owe you any money? I seem to be doing that lately.
Yeah, well, you know what? We owe all of our listeners a massive apology. This was an oversight. We made no bets in our last episode, and they could be settled in today's episode because everything that we did was predicting the entire NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So, listeners, if you're listening, that's our bad. We won't do that to you again.
And also, if you're listening, it's your bad.
Yeah, so Z, we got to do a real good job coming up with something to bet on for our next
Oh, I
episode.
know what we can bet on. Well, we're forced to take different.
I've got a great one, actually.
Oh yeah.
I've got a great one. All right, so one of the big stories in the news right now is will he or won't he, is Hurley going to coach the Lakers? And before you give any predictions, just run us through your thoughts. What are the pros? What are the cons?
Okay.
Is it likely? Is it unlikely?
Pros, you can make upwards of $15 million a year for the length of your contract, no matter if you get fired. And another pro, you could be potentially be an NBA champion. That's always nice. It is the highest level of basketball from a talent perspective, for sure, skill and talent perspective. Not necessarily from a team perspective or is this interesting perspective, but definitely from a perception from the public. That is although from a coaching perspective, this is more of a con. Another pro is that if you flame out, not only do you get all that money, because it's a guaranteed. Those coach contracts are guaranteed, just like other NBA contracts.
Right.
Is that you can go back to school. I mean, you could theoretically replace Izzo or something, right? Like something like that, Like if the timeline lines up where you get fired after 3 years and then Izzo retires after 3 years, or hypothetically, you could take a Michigan State level job, a Kentucky level job, a Kansas level job, something like that, a UConn level job, you get your old job back. So that part is just like it's you're falling on an airplane onto a trampoline, right? Like it's I mean, and with an extra, what is a minimum? Are there ever 4-year contracts in the NBA for coaches, or do they always give you that cushion?
That one.
What's that?
I couldn't tell you, but
yeah, I mean, hypothetically, we'll say there's 4-year contracts instead of 5 years out there, and he's definitely lasting more than 1 year. So it's like he lasts 2 years and he gets paid a minimum of $15 million a year because Monty Williams, to coach the fucking Pistons, is making $13 million a year, I think. So it's like obviously you're getting ahead of Monty Williams money, and that's a minimum of 15. I think it's more like 17, 18, or 20 a year. So we'll say it's 15 though, and that's $30 million that you've banked. for 2 years of non-titles, and then you get laid off. We'll say LeBron moves on to retirement or somewhere else, and you are done. And then it's like, oh, well, I just made $30 million, bro. And then I get another $30 million, and because it's you can go to another program, another team, another school, and still make money. And there's no like freeze on making money. Like, you don't have to wait or some shit. There's no non-compete. It's literally competition. So, it's like those are some good pros. I mean, we've both lived in LA. Like, we haven't necessarily had money in LA. I mean, I know you probably had more than me, but it doesn't mean that you had that LA money. But like, it's not a horrible place. It's not a horrible place if you have money.
One of the best.
Yeah, it's fine place. It's honestly, it's like if it's a decent place if you're poor, like, and you came from somewhere else and you just like you fell out of this helicopter for Fortnite.
It's not a decent place if you are poor.
No, if you fell out of the like helicopter Fortnite, you didn't let me finish. It's a good place to learn about yourself and learn how to be poor, and then to be like, I don't want to be poor anywhere. And then you find out ways to go somewhere else, either like back where you're from or somewhere else, and then make it not be poor.
To Dan Hurley.
This is related to Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley knows you don't have to worry about that shit, so he can enjoy LA if he wants with his lovely family or whatever. Cons. You're not going to win because that team is not built to win. That team is built to kind of almost win. And I think he knows it, and I think everybody knows it. You know it, I know it. That, yeah, they weren't a Darvin Ham away from...
That's got to count for something.
What's that?
They won the in-season tournament.
In-season tourney, baby, back to back. I think that they were as healthy as they were going to be, and they won one game in 2 series against the Nuggets. So that was as healthy as they were going to be, was those 2 playoffs. So I don't think they're going to be as healthy. I think their role players don't fit the situation. They never developed guys like Max Christie and other guys on the bench, and that's on Darvin Ham and the program or whatever. But there are some things that probably are on other people, like LeBron could be like, yo, I want to win. Like, I don't care about my points. Like, I'm the points leader anyways. It doesn't matter. And all-stars and stuff, like, play me a little less, save me for this shit. I want to catch Jordan. But I think his ego is probably too enormous to think ahead like that, honestly. If Maverick Carter's not holding his hand, he's not going to do shit about, like, thinking ahead. So, I said it. I said it. So, another con is you have a chance to be the GOAT in the modern era, like, past. We're talking, like, with a 3-point line at the bare minimum, like, as far as coaches. Like, you can catch Coach K relatively easily with the setup you have. Because you have this offensive system. You got Bill Murray's son helping you with that. Apparently he's, like, partially responsible for that offense. And the offense, I mean, I don't know how much of that you saw because you didn't have
I think he brings money and attention by being Bill Murray's son. I don't think he actually has any basketball credentials.
What? That is a hot take, man. That is a hot take.
He just helps with recruiting by having Bill Murray around and other Hollywood celebrities.
No, man. You think 17 to 20-year-old kids that are going to transfer or whatever or go there from high school give a shit about Bill Murray?
Oh, my God, yes.
What?
Yes. Bill Murray is a national treasure, and you watch your mouth.
Hey, my brother heard a story head on about this is
not a serious comment right now.
No, he's secondhand about Bill Murray. Those stories are real. All those stories are real about what he does. Like, he tackled somebody in the lobby of a Jefferson Hotel in Richmond where my brother was working, and this is his coworker, and he's like, "You'll never believe what happened." And because he's like, "Oh, hi, Bill Murray," and then Bill Murray was already eating or whatever in town or something for some gig, and so he like goes back down the hallway, and then he hears a do, and he turns around and Bill Murray tackles him, and then he looks up, he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "No one will ever believe you." And he said that, and that apparently that's the thing he does. Like when he went in the Sweden did their dishes at a party, it's like he just does shit. My brother encountered him during the World Series because my brother wanted to get like a picture, and other people were like coming up and like snapping candids or whatever. But my brother actually asked, like a gentleman, and he's like, "This guy's freaking me out." He was joking, but maybe not. He's like, no, because he was like, my brother was like, hey, Bill Murray, you want a picture so I can stop following you? So I have a blurry photo of like my brother trying to get a picture of Bill Murray somewhere. So,
That's a good one.
yeah, it was World Series. We went to surround ourselves in that cesspool the place that you hate in Chicago, in that part of Chicago. But we were high fiving cops, and they were on horses, and it was cool, and everyone was winning, and it's like, it's a sporting event if people are high fiving cops and not other things going on. But yeah, so Bill Murray, you say Bill Murray's son is a myth, it's a mythology.
That wasn't a serious take.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Right over your head.
I loved it. No, I didn't go over my head. I just defended because I read something about his.
Those are the cons.
The cons is also another con is con as far as pro UConn, right? Pro stay con.
Well, con as far as taking the Laker job.
Another con is that it'll reduce the amount of money I make next year. It'll reduce my income because I made a lot of money off UConn this year. A lot. For me, a lot. And yeah, so
is that
okay.
The cons? Is that the list?
No, multiple titles. You can catch or surpass Coach K in terms of like mythology. Especially if you get 3 in a row. I mean, geez, he has a chance to. Caravan's coming back. He's really good, and then they got Terrace Reed, and they're gonna turn him into something. And they got Samson Johnson. He's good. Like, they got some good guys, and then some guys that are gonna come in for the recruits. Like, they'll be good. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to do it again. I'm just saying. They won 12 straight tournament games, double digits. It's never been done.
So that's a con.
They broke MSU's record, of 9. Yeah, yeah, it's a con. I think there's more cons, but we're gonna take all right. So, are we on the same page that he should or shouldn't? Well, I'll let you go first because I think I have the stronger opinion.
I don't even know what page you're on.
Well, I'll let you go first. Tell me what page you're on.
Here we go. So here's my thoughts on it, and it's a con for taking the Lakers job, right? So. Lakers just had Darvin Ham as their coach. Was he there 2 seasons, right?
2 seasons, yeah.
Okay, before that they had
Vogel, right?
He was not even a season and a half, right?
No, he won the championship in the bubble.
That was Vogel?
Yeah, that was Vogel. Was there someone in between? This is such a bad job and such a storied franchise.
I know Luke Walton was before Vogel.
That was way before Vogel, right?
Wasn't Lou there for a second?
Tyronn Lue won the title with Cleveland.
Hold on a second. Talk for a second while I look this information up.
Yeah. So, O doesn't like the Lakers, but he used to.
But basically what I'm trying to get at is... there doesn't seem to be a lot of job security. There doesn't seem to be a lot of patience from management and ownership there.
There shouldn't be. They have LeBron and Anthony Davis, so they think that the players are what they we got enough. And the reality is that a coach isn't going to have the authority to be like, no, we have enough if we develop these guys through the season. Don't worry so much about the seeding. Just get in and make sure LeBron and Davis are fresh. And that these other guys can step up and you can play the hot hand instead of like trotting out Russell to be wildly different from game to game. For example.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham was there for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Frank Vogel was there for 3 seasons, won it in the bubble.
Yeah.
Luke Walton was before him for 3 seasons. Byron Scott was before that for 2. Mike D'Antoni for 2. Bernie Bickerstaff for 5 games. Mike Brown for
a minute.
And then Phil Jackson before that.
Jackson, the GOAT.
Since 2011, there's been 7 different coaches. So
yeah,
not a lot of staying power.
no, but I mean,
what do they call it? It's not Staples Center anymore. What's the stupid new name?
crypto.
Like the crypto.com.
They're flimsy as cryptocurrencies are.
Cryptocurrencies, yeah.
The coaching staff.
I think that is really your deciding factor if you're Hurley. I think he stays at UConn, or at the very least doesn't take the Lakers' job.
Well, he's not going to go somewhere else. It's the only job open besides, does Cleveland open still?
Well,
no one's going to take that job. That from, like, going from UConn where you have a machine going. And it's college basketball is like...
He's not taking LA.
No, he's an East Coaster, which can matter. I mean, as you know, like, Michigan's not the East Coast, but you aren't like a lot of Midwesterners. You have like East Coast like intensity to you, and as do I. And I don't think it really matters where we were from. I think we both, we were born in the. I mean, I was born in the Midwest. It's just. I don't
think geography really matters so much when it comes to pros as it does so much in college, because that's all about recruiting. But even these days, that's not such a thing. Michigan State just brought in a football coach from Oregon State. So,
yeah.
And then, again, in the pros, there's no recruiting. So, I don't think geography is a concern. I think
there's recruiting except the players do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And LeBron started it, or Dwayne Wade, I should say, started it. Really, recruiting LeBron. I think he stays. So, did we just fuck up a dollar bet?
Yeah, we just fucked up a dollar bet. You think he stays?
Yeah, I want him to stay too. So that's part of it, though. So
do.
I'm kind of like, although it's like, okay, if I thought MSU could win it in the next year for sure, I would want him to go. Because I think that much of them. I think that much of their program right now. I mean, they have pulverized and obliterated everybody. There was no one that was within 15 points with them with 10 minutes left in the game, I think. Like, that's insane.
Right.
Like, maybe Alabama was within 12 or 8 points with, like, 10 minutes left, but then they were just done after that. And that was the best they got, and that was the most stylistically different team they played. So that makes sense, right? But, like, yeah. God, they were... I mean, I have to put them on my tax return if they find out, that how much money I made off them. And it's like, yeah, man.
So we don't have a bet there.
No.
So let's talk about the NBA. Let's see if we can come up with something for our listeners.
Mavs, I got Mavs game 3. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I'm not necessarily doubling down. I did bet on the series, but I
predicted Celtics in 6, which means that, not black or white, but it definitely... Boston winning game 3 would really make me think it's not going to go that long.
No, it would go 5 or 4.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but...
you should ride the hot hand, dude.
Seeing out of these teams, right? Like, Boston has been a very well-oiled machine, even with their arguably best player, Jason Tatum, having 2 very poor shooting nights in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't think he is their best player.
Well, that's what I said, arguably.
Yeah, I know. That is arguably, yeah. That is the definition of arguably.
Team All-NBA, I think, 3 of the last 4 years or something. So he's got that going for him.
It's writers like you who vote for that shit.
Holiday has been doing great on defense, getting a lot of boards.
He had 26 points in game 1, right?
Done White things.
Or was that last night? Yeah, 26.
But really, like, the big surprise, at least to me, has been the play of Porzingis. Like, he doesn't look like he was just out for 30
How many did he go for last night?
What's that?
How many did he go for last night?
He didn't have huge points. I think he only ended up with 12, but he had like 8 in the first quarter. Like, he just came out
so
on fire.
He kept them in the game, right? He like, because Dallas was up. So I turned it on. Dallas is up 13-6. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was definitely a slow start.
I was like, okay. And then they're still up 3 after the first quarter. And I was like, okay. And then I had to do this goddamn training thing. And I kept, like, every time I, like, pause the video or turn the sound off for a moment to check the game, and they were doing worse and worse. I was like, no! God bless America! I don't want to train, and I don't want to lose. I don't want education. I don't want defeat. Okay, it's very disruptive to my life. So yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to eat a bunch of crow. I'll eat it on air. I don't care. I'll eat some. Someone send me some crow, listeners. Email me where I can get crow, and I'll go get it myself. I'll Uber Eats that shit. Uber Eats a bucket of crow or something. It's the email is dollarbetsshow@gmail.com, and that's bets with a Z. So dollarbets with a Z show@gmail.com. Email me your favorite crow recipe and crow locations.
Yes, send us your emails, guys.
Can cook it for me.
But then let's look at the other side. Dallas is not really getting much from its second fiddle.
Kyrie's not showing up. Boston's got his dirt.
Kyrie isn't showing up. Dallas cannot run with Boston. Boston has way too many horses. Dallas is a two-man show.
That's why they shouldn't run.
The question is, how much is the home court going to change what we've seen?
I think a fair amount, because man, I'm so out of it. Do they still do the 2-3-2, or do they finally switch that?
I remember them switching that a few years back.
If you're down 2-0, you would rather them switch that, because it is hard. So it's hard to lose. It's hard to win 3 games in a row, right? So it's like you're almost better off down 2-0 that they switch it.
2-2-1-1-1.
Oh, that's good because you don't want to have to rely on winning all 3 games, So you want to win this one. You ideally want to win game 4 instead of having to be down 3-1, right? So if you somehow win these 2 at home, Boston blows their wad in game 5, you blow your wad in game 6, and then just everyone's empty wadded and going for it in game 7.
All right. Well, I want to give our fans a bet here. So
yes.
You want to take Dallas in game 3?
I'll take Dallas. I mean, you might as well ride your hot hand.
Boston.
Okay, because you've won 6 in a row. I think overall in our history pre-show too, we're probably almost even at this point because you're heater.
I still think all time you've got my number, but
I don't know. Well, I guess I was up 5-2. I was up 4-1, 5-2.
To know about this.
No. That's why I didn't say an exact amount I won on UConn, but it was a fair amount.
Yeah, we had to bleep that out.
I know. It's like I'm poor. Don't come after me. Those are the people they come after. Government.
Alright, so
okay, tell me.
Is that going to be our one bet?
Yeah.
Game 2?
What about game 2 of the Oilers and the?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do we want to put a bet on that? 4-1.
I like the Oilers in game 2.
What's that?
I mean, I think you should ride the hot hands, and I'll take these. I'm the one scraping after a redemption. I think you should take the Panthers. I mean, they won 3-0.
Yeah, one of those was an empty netter, and Edmonton dramatically outshot Florida in that game.
Oh.
It's just that Florida's goaltender is out of this world right now.
Yeah.
He is just laying, he's gonna, if they go on to win, he's winning the MVP.
Yeah, first start.
And there's not even a discussion about it. Nobody else matters on that team.
Yeah, man.
So,
I got the Oilers though.
You're taking Oilers game 2?
I think we should bet on that. I think we'll probably split, or you'll just win both. Fuck it.
I really want Edmonton to win, so I don't know if I want to take that bet.
Well, you want to get the show to be sexier, right?
I do like sexy shows.
There is a direct correlation between how much you lose and how much the audience loves us.
All right. So you're taking Edmonton?
Yeah, man. Why not?
Fine.
Why not? Is there a third thing we can do?
No.
You're like, nah. Was there any? Does US have a soccer game they can get destroyed on again, or?
You talking about that Columbia match?
A friendly. Someone wasn't so friendly.
It's all right. It's a good learning lesson for the team.
You know what's another good learning lesson? Finding a different coach.
He's not the problem.
He's not the solution.
I'm not going to judge it. We've looked good in some other competitions. This was a friendly, remember?
You know what? You know what was a competition where we didn't look that good was the World Cup. The only one that matters, truly. As far as
that wasn't the same coach, though.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
We hired the guy back. You didn't know that?
Did we?
Yeah, Berhalter, or whatever his name is, he's back. I don't know if he's back yet. I thought he was, but they hired him back. Look it up.
Yeah, because this was the guy who had the issues with his player, Reina.
Yeah.
He's back?
Yeah. The U.S. soccer as a federation is a joke. Like, they don't have an academy system. They rely on local stuff for, like, travel soccer that only relies on people with money, families that have the money to chase it around, and it's ridiculous. Imagine if basketball was like that. I mean, even the AAU things, they're all like, they take care of it a lot better. Because there's like the grifters that are out in full force for AAU ball. It's different. It's shady and it instead of like stupid. And there's a reason why we crush in basketball and we don't crush in soccer, and it's not a potential issue, I mean, because a child is born today. It is an athletic child. It is a child, and it has a choice. This is a genderless child. It is a child that is born, and it is an athletic child, okay? And it has an amazing future ahead of it in sports. But one of the primary drivers of what sport they will potentially excel in or not excel in is how much money their family has or where they're from. Like, it's ridiculous. It's not necessarily like any other demographics. It's more of a money issue. And like baseball is having problems too, because the same thing. It's like
boring sport.
Well, it's a boring sport. Well, that's not boring when you're a kid, except for you were probably one of those kids kicking grass when you played it. You probably fucking ate the grass.
Baseball growing up, it's a boring sport.
You probably kicked the grass, man.
I was watching butterflies in left field.
Oh,
man.
Definitely. I was intense, dude. I was super intense. As you might suspect, I was very intense. Playing whatever it was. Driveway basketball, baseball, little league, whatever. Basketball, little league. But I just think that soccer, the biggest problem, like you said, it's not necessarily the coach, but he's not the solution. The coach is and Bradley, we always had one thing where we had pieces, but we didn't have anything else. Last cycle we had like a couple pieces, but we didn't really have a lot. And Netherlands
We've always had good defense. We've always had good goalies. We've had good midfield. We've just never had people that can score.
Netherlands' our defense against Netherlands is terrible, though. Wasn't it? We gave up like 3 goals.
Is a powerhouse on the global scale.
Yeah, but we gave up 3 goals. Like, that sucks. I mean, remember against Belgium in 2014, we would have given up like 10 goals if we had an average World Cup goalie. We had a guy. They call it standing on their head in hockey. What do they say in soccer? Like,
I think they still say that in soccer too.
I mean, he just was like, the guy was just rock hard back there and just like crushing it, man. Like remember they shot like, I still was amazed by that game. That game earned a couple of USA chants. Definitely at the bar I was at. We faced like 27 shots on goal in a soccer match. Something like that. That's absurd. He gave up 2 out of 27. Howard. So he was awesome. Turner's fine, right? He's good, right? I think he seems better than he's on the upper tier of the World Cup goalies that I saw. I mean, he's not 6'9" like whoever was at there was some the English guy, yeah. But I don't know. It's just there's something. The peak of that World Cup cycle was definitely the 0-0 tie on Black Friday. I was like, oh, we got a shot, And then facing Iran, I was like, this is geopolitically, this is a really interesting group. And then
that was rigged.
That was so rigged. That was completely rigged. They should always rig the groups. They should rig their groups. Patrick Ewing lottery. That's hilarious. Derrick Rose too. Chicago. And
I can't believe how much soccer is coming out of Z's mouth right now.
No,
This is
I love it.
astonishing.
It's good. It's good,
Coming
right?
up with stats from 2014 games.
Well, the problem is there were no stats from 2018 games, and that was on the coaching staff.
That was
horrible, right? And it's just
that was
like
horrible. Who did we lose to? Like Trinidad or something in a qualifying game?
I think it was Trinidad. We also lost to our friend El Rey's Panama team. That sucked. So it's just, we really had to beat Netherlands to not avoid being in position to take a step backwards. Because there's no focus and intensity, I would imagine, because we're automatically in the World Cup. You know what we deserve is the World Cup games are in our country and Canada and Mexico, whatever, blah blah blah, and we don't play them because we didn't make it. That's what we should have to earn our way in. I think it's ridiculous. Oh, you're hosting? People are still going to go to the games. It's not like it's in some country that no one can go to, like where it's scary, or there's parts of America.
If it makes you feel any better, the World Cup is expanding from 32 teams to 48 teams when we're hosting.
I know.
So each federation is getting more teams. With more teams coming from CONCACAF, there's no way that the U.S. isn't going to qualify. So
going forward,
it's a formality.
Yeah.
The U.S., the Canada, and Mexico are all in.
The Canada.
That's great because we should never have a World Cup without the host nation playing in it.
I think last time we should have.
Even Qatar.
Last time, when people are
see Qatar get embarrassed, which was wonderful.
When they're building stadiums and people are falling from them, I think that maybe you shouldn't automatic. I think it's like, okay, if people are just like, for better word, croaking while they're building a stadium, you should at least have to earn your spot and not be auto qualified. So that I think we can agree on. Oh, real quick.
That's real quick. I think that's a good place to end it.
Okay, what, people dying and building soccer stadiums for small countries that buy their World Cup appearances?
We're supposed to be a show with no morals.
With no morals? No, there's no morals. Money rules it all, man. And so, that's why we suck at soccer, because you're playing soccer. You're on the travel team. These coaches want kids on their teams, or their teams don't exist, and then so you don't get the kid that's more athletic. You get the kid that can afford the soccer tournament. And though, here's your trophy. You're such a great soccer player, and you won't even play past high school. Bye.
All right. Quick recap. We got 2 bets on the books. You're taking Dallas in Game 3. I'm taking Celtics.
Yes.
And you're taking Edmonton in Game 2. I'm taking Florida, right?
Yeah. Sign off, dude.
Right.
What's your sign off today?
It's been sealed, notarized. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. You know what that spells.